Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining us. Today is Wednesday, June 27th. I'm Jasmine Bailey. We begin with breaking news this afternoon. A pedestrian is left with life-threatening injuries after being hit by a car on Rangeline Road. Around 10 o'clock this morning, a pedestrian was crossing westbound on Rangeline near 20th Street when he was hit by a car traveling south. Joplin police responded to the incident, shutting down traffic for about an hour. The victim is male and was sent to the hospital with life-threatening injuries. His name and age have not yet been released. As of 11:30 this morning, traffic was still shut down south from 20th Street. All other roadways and northbound traffic is open. In other news, residents in Oklahoma headed to the polls to vote in statewide and local elections. From your local election headquarters, State Question 788 would legalize the use, sale, and growth of marijuana for medical purposes. This issue passes with 56% of the vote. Moving to the race for governor, there were 9 candidates vying for the Republican ticket. Mick Cornett takes it with 29% of the votes. On the Democrat side, Drew Edmondson became the candidate with 61% of the vote. For the Libertarian ticket, Chris Powell wins with 48%. Moving now to the race for Lieutenant Governor on the Republican side, Dana Murphy takes it with 46%. There were 3 other candidates. The winner will be on the November ballot. For the Democrats running for Lieutenant Governor, Anastasia Pittman won over Anna Dearmore in a close race with 50% of the vote. Locally in Ottawa County, for County Commissioner District 1, Mike Moore wins the Republican ticket with 59% of the vote. For Democrats running in the County Commissioner District 1 race, Mike Furness wins and will be on the November ballot. Also in Ottawa County, for County Commissioner District 3, Russell Earls wins over Will E. Sampson with 60%. Earls will advance to the general election. In Delaware County, residents voted on a proposition that would restrict the retail sale of alcoholic beverages by the individual drink for on-premises consumption on Sundays and on Christmas Day. That issue fails by less than 100 votes. To see the results of more statewide races, you can go to our website, 4stateshomepage.com. A 3-year-old is dead after police say he was playing in the car, found a gun, and accidentally pulled the trigger. The Monette Police Department says it happened around 6 yesterday morning at the 500 block of Pleasant Drive. They say 3-year-old Anthony Latour woke up, went to the garage, and was playing in the family car. That's when he found a pistol and accidentally pulled the trigger. An autopsy has been scheduled in Springfield as the investigation continues. Missouri farmers could be growing a more untraditional crop in the future. It is now legal in the Show Me State for farmers to grow, cultivate, harvest, and process industrial hemp. However, the State Department of Agriculture still has to create a pilot program. Once that's finished, farmers will be required to get a license to grow the crop. Jasper County Farm Bureau President Brenda Poland says before they begin growing the plant, farmers should research hemp and make sure there is a viable market for the plant. She also says they might need to purchase new machinery to harvest it. But on the whole, Poland tells us she expects Missouri farmers to be quite responsive to the change.
Farmers in this area are usually receptive to most new things that come out. We've had cotton production, we've had rice production, we've had all kinds of production in this area crops that we've never had before. So yeah, I think farmers in this area is pretty receptive to change and looking for something new.
Under the new law, farmers won't be able to grow more than 40 acres of the plant. The legal version of the crop will have less than 0.3%, that is, of the chemical THC, which produces the effects of being high. Residents in a Joplin neighborhood learn how the next round of surface improvements will impact what's happening directly in front of their homes. Work is set to begin soon in what's known as the 4004 area. That covers Pennsylvania Avenue west to Maiden Lane and from 26th Street south to 32nd Street. City staff and the contractor shared details and answered questions for concerned residents during a public meeting last night at the Joplin Public Library. The surface project will involve replacing damaged sidewalks, fixing curbs and gutters, working on stormwater inlets and pipes, adding ADA ramps at corners, and paving streets in the area. The more than $3 million project is funded through HUD's Community Development Block Grant Disaster Recovery Program. Work will start this summer and is set to be complete by the end of 2018. And now with your Midday Ag Report, here's KSN's John Jenkinson.
Thank you. Agriculture Secretary Sonny Perdue says President Donald Trump will protect United States farmers from trade retaliations. Perdue says if China does not soon change its mind about retaliation, the president and USDA will quickly begin fulfilling their promise to support producers. The secretary said that President Trump knows United States farmers feed, fuel, and clothe the world, and he will not allow U.S. agriculture to bear the brunt of China's retaliations. Perdue says it's just a simple case of not releasing your plan when the opposing team is watching. Secretary Perdue says if Trump is successful at getting the trade imbalance righted, farmers will reap the benefits. Repercussions of the trade war are being felt throughout United States agriculture, and the retaliatory tariffs from China will soon be going into effect. Meanwhile, the EU is taking full advantage of the situation and engaging with China to further develop trade. A European Commission news release says both sides agreed to exchange market access offers and an upcoming summit to give political motivation to an ambitious EU-China comprehensive agreement on investment. China and the EU say the U.S. is a unilateral approach comes at the risk of a global recession and vowed for a multilateral approach to counteract the United States trade agenda and to uphold rules-based trading system in the World Trade Organization, also known as the WTO. I'm John Jenkinson. Back to you.
Thank you, John. Coming up, rescuers aren't giving up on a team of young soccer players lost in an underwater cave in Thailand. But first, a police officer in Pennsylvania is charged in the shooting death of an unarmed teenager. That's next when Local News at Noon returns.
This is KSN, your local news at noon with Jasmine Bailey and meteorologist Chase Bullman.